Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Timale. Before anything else, please press the subscribe button. Subscribe and you have a notification anytime I have new content on my channel. So today, obviously, I'm alone. She's not here with me. I'm calling her. Right? If you don't know who her is, just check on the other videos and you'll see her. She's not here with me because she kind of puts me out of character. Like my balance is off when she's around. So today I am myself. This is who I am when I'm by myself. Okay? No, truly speaking, she's at work. Thank God. So, story time. I always tell you I've got stories for days. So this one, right, I always say this happened a couple of years ago, because if you start putting dates on it and months on it, then it's gonna overlap with other months and dates, and then you're gonna get people calling you like, I thought we were supposed to be together at that time. But you see, I don't want confusion in my life. So everything that I talk about happened a couple of years ago, period. So we don't need to know actual timelines, okay? It's not necessary. So one fine day, right, I was minding my own business, as I usually do. I don't have a cup of tea. I was minding my own business a couple of years ago. I was minding my own business, coming from work, and that's around the time I was working in London, right? So I used to get a train home, and it was one evening. I remember I took a very late train back to Leeds. It was around 9 or something, so I was looking rough. It was a cold day, you know. I had no wig on, I had nothing on, I had no eyebrows, so I couldn't express myself. I had nothing on. I was wearing a beanie and my jacket, like, you know when you're not, it's not a thing, you're just on the train, you're going home, it's late. So I was just there like looking enough. So, and then I see a guy, right? I saw a whiff of a guy come in the train and pass me, and I felt a sense of something. You know, when you see from the corner of your eye, you feel like somebody, an actual person, has just walked in the train. So obviously I wasn't looking my best, and I was tired, and I was just hungry, and I didn't really like look, but the corner of my eye caught something, right? And I thought, Smiley, don't bother. You know, he's not even looking at you like that. You're not at your best, so just let this go. Let it go. Let it go. So I did. You know, so I just sat there on my phone, looking at my apps, looking at my notifications, you know, trying to see if I can watch something on YouTube or something on Netflix. And then he sits right across me on in the train. He's like, hello, do you mind if I sit here? I'm like, hi. Let me describe this specimen, right? He was chocolate, but like that nice dark chocolate. You know, that beautiful chocolate that makes you feel like you're in touch with your ancestors. That rich coconut type of chocolate, right? Never mind he was chocolate. He had that whole beard that comes all the way there, but that's trimmed just right. And then Jesus' eyes, the eyes that are just piercing through. Man, listen, I was just like, this is a man. And he was just there and tall and smelling nice. And there I was. And he was like, hello. Oh my God, to top it off, he had an accent. It was Frenchie. He had a French accent. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's just randomly talking to me. Oh, where you come from? Where you going? So we're chatting. Everything's cool. We start getting into a conversation, and he's like, he's obviously French. They say they're French, but we know they're like either from Cameroon or Congo, or one of them. Let's call him Frenchie. Let's call him Frenchie. Yeah. So Frenchie was talking about himself. You know, he's just recently moved to Manchester. He used to live in London, recently moved to Manchester because of his work. And I was like, hey, Manchester is close to Leeds. And I was like, well, why are you in the Leeds train? It's like, I missed my train, yada yada. Some long story. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But we're getting on fine. His accent was looking good. His skin was glistening, right? His skin was just, it was the best thing. It was like velvet. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm not even at my best, but you know what? It's all good. Anyway, we chat in, got into Leeds. He had to swap the train from Leeds to the Manchester train. So we swapped numbers. But this is what happens. You swap numbers with people, you get a random, hey, hi, how you doing? And then, you know, it disappears from then. But no, it didn't, right? This man was texting me and calling me all the time. Good morning, beautiful. Good afternoon, beautiful. Hey, baby girl, what you doing? Hey, love. And I was like, oh my God. And I was liking his energy. I was like, okay, he's actually all about me right now. He's trying to let me know that my focus is about you, girl. So I was like, okay, I am taking this. You know, like, he would let me know I'm at work right now. I'm on my lunch break. He'd take little pictures of what he's eating. And I was like, okay, I am feeling this guy. So it was a couple of weeks of just talking on the phone or anything, and I didn't initiate like, should we go on a date or whatever, because I wanted him to do that. I'm not, if you've seen the vlogs, I don't do that. Like, it's either you initiate or nothing's gonna happen. So I just waited, and I was hoping, when is he gonna ask me out? Like, when are we gonna go for drinks? Like, when are we gonna have an actual date, right? And then he did, and he said, you know, I wanted to come to Leeds this weekend. I've just been looking at a hotel, because obviously you can't come to my house. So it's like, I'm looking for a hotel, and found a hotel. So I was trying to spend the weekend in Leeds. If that's cool with you, maybe we can go on a date, have dinner, have a couple of drinks, and then do something fun the next day or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And I said to myself, Tamale, this guy, yeah, could be the one. You guys could have little French kids running around looking like melanin dipped in chocolate dipped in chocolate, like proper, just beautiful black love kind of melanin children's. Like, my mind went that far, because this guy was giving me attention, and we love attention. He was giving me like all of it, first thing in the morning, at night, like anytime. Like, you know, it got to the point where anytime I saw a text message from him, even if it was just a hi, I would like literally giggle, like, oh, he's just sending me a hi. Like, it was like that. I was getting some vibes from him. Anyway, he comes to Leeds. I'm so excited. So he was waiting for me, and I thought, because I needed to make an entrance so that he can see what I look like when I have my real face on. You know, when I have actual clothes on and I have my real face on, so he can see that I actually look like an actual woman, you know. Anyway, so he was waiting for me at the restaurant, and I walked in, girl. I walked in looking like a whole highlighter. I was a glow, bitch. I walked in like, I'm here, bitch. So I walk in, and I could see him. You know, when you want to see that look on their face, I could see the look on his face. I was like, yeah, gotcha. Because you thought I was the same girl that you saw on the train. The girl on the train was not me, right? This is me. This is what I look like when I wake up first thing in the morning. Okay? So anyway, he was looking nice, and you know, I love it when men wear black. He was just suited up in black. Shit. Anywho, you know, he's looking nice. He pulled the chair up for me, gave me a hug and everything. We're talking, and I was like, this is my husband. Like, I was like, this is it. Like, he was doing everything right, and we're having a conversation, and he's talking. He had a kid. He's talking about his daughter, and I was like, where's your daughter at the moment? It's like, no, my daughter's with the mom, but they are in France, but we're not together. I go to France once a month. And he was even like, next time, if this goes well, next time we should go together to France. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I can do that. Like, so it was just a good night. Like, the conversation was flowing, and he was talking to me like about his, you know, his goals, his short-term and long-term goals, what he's trying to achieve in his life, what he's trying to do. And all I could see was that skin and that beard and that listen, right? And these eyes, these Jesus eyes, where it's piercing through my soul. And I said, Timale, with this guy, don't be generous. Don't give away the box. Okay, don't just be giving boxes. Sometimes we give boxes, you know, out of charity, right? Sometimes we've given boxes out of charity. And sometimes people fall on the boxes, like we trip and fall. But this box, you have to hold on to it, right? Because sometimes guys can say the right thing. This is the conversation I'm having with myself. Sometimes guys say the right thing and whatever. So hold on the box. As much as I didn't want to, I was like, no, right? This is husband bae. This is husband. Hold on to the box, Tims. Like, I had to swallow and be really strong, right? And after dinner, we went, had a little boogie, went to a wine bar, had a dance, had drinks. And literally, he was treating me like I am the only woman in the room. It was all about me. You know, and when a guy is giving you that level of attention, it's nice. It's a good feeling, because then you're really believing that this person is into me like that. You understand? So I'm thinking, okay, this is a thing. It's a thing, right? And then he went back to his hotel around 2 a.m. in the morning. So we said our goodbyes. I went home. First thing in the morning, I got up, met him at the hotel for breakfast. Yes, I left him at the hotel. Okay. If I had stayed up, because he did say, do you want to spend the night? Nothing's going to happen. That statement, I don't trust that statement. It's either I don't trust myself or I don't trust the person. That whole statement to me is a whole bunch of bullshit. It's best you sleep in a different area, in a whole different area from the person, because I don't know. Accidents happen. I'm in for breakfast and he's looking so nice and smelling so good. And you know, we took a little walk around Leeds, and then we went to play pool, we went to the cinema. You know, it was nice. And he even said, like, are you seeing anybody? Are you talking to anybody? I was like, no, not really. There's fans, but no. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to take this to the next level. Can we be official, or is it too soon? I said, you're trying to officiate this whole thing? And he's like, yeah, man, I just want to make you my girl. And I was like, you know what? I like your style. You go for what you want and you grab it. I was like, yeah, I'll be your girl. Like, you seem to be ticking all the boxes. And obviously, we kissed. It was a whole romantic moment. And like, birds were singing and everything. I went to Manchester. But we're constantly in touch. We're constantly talking. The usual. And then we were together, like, officially for like 2 months. I saw him 3 times. The second time I actually went to Manchester. Now get this. I went to Manchester, right? And he was in a 2-bedroom flat, of which he was renting a room, which I found weird, because the way he was talking, it was like he lived alone. And I found it fishy. I'm like, okay, somebody's just moved. Obviously, you know, you're renting a room. I get it. But the way the room looked, for somebody who's just moved in, there was hardly any clothes. There was hardly any bags. I notice these things, right? And then, like, in the bathroom, you know, I didn't get the vibe of he actually lives there. I got the vibe of it's a place that he stays at sometimes. But I was into him so much that I didn't feel I had to ask why. I mean, it's rude, isn't it? It's borderline rude to ask somebody, like, how come you only got like 2 pairs of shoes? If you've, like, do you know what I mean? How come you only have like 1 shirt? So I didn't want to be like rude. Maybe he just didn't have, like, I don't know. And it's like, yeah, this is where I've been staying. I've got a roommate, and in a couple of months, you know, I'm going to find my own place, yada, 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 yada. I'm like, okay, great. He's got a plan for himself. Maybe some of his stuff is still in London, and he's trying to, you know, I was making excuses for him. I was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. So we actually stayed at his place. Nothing happened. I still held on to the box. I still held on to the, believe it or not, I held on to the box. Nothing happened. So, but almost, but nothing happened. Because my gut was like, this is too good to be true. Somebody who's trying to be official with you, he's got his head screwed on and stuff like that. I get suspicious, like when shit is too good to be true. I need to be sure. So I was like, nah, I like him too much. So let me hold on to the box. Let me not just give it. Right? Let's not do this. Let me hold on a little bit until I'm 100% sure with what exactly is going on here. So, spent the night at his house. It was good. We had fun. He showed me around. We went for meals. We did activities and stuff. It was nice. Like, he was a genuinely nice guy. But I was just suspicious of where he lived. Second time round, he came to Leeds. And, you know, he booked a hotel again. Obviously, he wouldn't stay at mine. I wouldn't let him stay at mine. I've got a son. I mean, so, yeah, we hung out and everything. And he was telling me that he's found a place and he's moving out. So we're like officially dating for about 2 months. You know, but things were good. Like, things were good. His communication was on point. He always called. You know, he used to call me all the time. You know, video call and stuff like that. So I felt like we were headed in the right direction. You know, and until the last time I saw him was the second time he came to Leeds. He went back to Manchester. Everything was good. I think it was a Monday he went back, a Monday morning. We spoke while he was on his way. And then when he got to Manchester, he was like, I have to get into work now. Baby, I'll call you after work. And I was like, great. And then I never heard from him ever again. Radio silence. Hold on. Hold on. That's not the end of the story. But radio silence, right? I waited a day, 2. No call, no text. Unusual, right? So I texted a couple of times, no response, 1 tick. I called him completely. You know when somebody is like blocked your phone number? Like, it's just, my number was just not going through. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You know. And then there I am getting a little bit worried, like, what's happened? And I was thinking something surely must have either happened to his phone. He's going to try and get in touch, right? Either via Facebook or something. Nothing. Then he deletes his Facebook completely, right? This was the times when Facebook was a thing. Instagram wasn't really popping like that. Facebook was the thing. So I'm like, what the hell? So a month or 2 pass. 3 months pass, I have no idea where he is. So I finally just concluded in my mind that he's just the typical guy that does typical guy shit. And thank God he did not get the box. Can you imagine how used I would feel, like how bad I would feel if he had had the box, right? So anyway, I had lost nothing. I was like, okay, whatever. And then 6 months down the road, my phone rings. I like it when my phone rings because it goes. I'm like, my phone, she's ringing again. My phone, what is it? And it's a number that I don't realize. I don't recognize. I did not recognize this number, so my phone doesn't ring. I'm hearing, hello, how you doing? French accent. And I knew exactly who it was. But you know when you're trying to act like you don't know who it was. I'm like, hello, who's this? Hey, baby, it's me. I'm like, who is this? Can you say your name, address, national insurance number? I don't know who you are. Who are you? And it's like, yeah, it's me, you know, Frenchie. I'm like, oh, Frenchie, how you doing? Long time. It's like, oh, baby, listen. Something really terrible happened, right? Something terrible happened. I was like, what happened? Baby, you'd never believe this, yeah? Because obviously my family is very well known or famous. Something stupid. So I got kidnapped. I was put in the trunk of a car, and they wanted 200 euros from my parents, right, for ransom. So I have all these months I've been kidnapped. They kept me in a weird warehouse. They took me all the way to France. And I'm like, I mean, nobody makes up a story like that, right? But my sixth sense is like, so I'm like, what do you mean you were kidnapped? Yeah, you know, the day I last spoke to you getting into work. Yeah, just as I was on my way to the office, they grabbed me in a van, put me in the van. I got kidnapped. I'm like, you joking? It's like, yeah, so my family members and my family, and because they said if they called the police, they're gonna kill me. So my entire family from all over the world tried to raise all this money to get me released from the kidnappers. So they raised 200,000 euros. Yeah, that. But the more he said the story, the more bullshit he started sounding. It started sounding like bullshit. Because he said he's got paperwork. He said he had paperwork to prove that he was kidnapped, and he had bruises to show the torture. Let me laugh, wait. He said he had bruises to show the torture, and he just wanted to meet up. He just wanted to, and I was like, no. I mean, it's 6 months down the line. It's like, it's done. I'm sorry you got kidnapped, whatever, but I'm done, right? Don't ever think you were never on my mind, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You know the things that guys say when they say the shit that they say. I was just like, yeah, I mean, it's been 6 months. I done have moved on, but, you know, I'm glad you're okay. I'm sorry you got kidnapped. You know, because I was thinking, nah, because something just was not adding up. But then there was like that sixth sense in me telling me that this nigga is taking me for a fool, right? Anyway, I let it go. And he still used to text me like every day. I would respond to the text messages just a little bit. So anyway, we fast forward like a few days. It was a few days later after the phone call, because he was texting me every day after that. A few days later, you see God. A few days later, went to Sheffield shopping, me and my sister and her friend, period. So we go to Sheffield and walking around the shop, and my sis goes, Tim's, isn't that Frenchie? I'm like, no, why would Frenchie be in Sheffield? And then she's like, no, Tim's, look, that's Frenchie. And sure enough, Frenchie was there pushing a buggy, right? With a little girl on his side, and he had a woman with him holding hands, and she was pregnant, right? And I was like, motherfucker. But I was like, okay. And then my sis was like, are we gonna be messy, or are we just gonna go? I was like, no, I'm not gonna be messy, because obviously we are classy girls. We don't do mess. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna gaslight. And I was like, you know what, let me do this by myself. Let me fucking gaslight, because you're not gonna take me for a fool out here in the streets, right? So I literally walked up to them and I tapped him on the shoulder, and I'm like, hey Frenchie, how you doing? I hugged him, right, in front of his wife. Yeah, in front of his wife and kid. I did. I hugged him, and I'm like, oh babe, how you doing? Fine. So the wife is like looking at me like, and I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, oh, are these your kids? And his face, listen, if he could go red, yeah, he would. If he could dig a hole and hide, he would have. But no, I said, I'm not letting this go. But I did it in the best way I could without causing too much drama, because I'm not drama filled. And he was looking at me with those eyes like, please don't say anything. Please don't say anything. But I mean, I didn't say much. All I did say was, where do you know him from? I was like, no, I know him. He used to come to Leeds a lot. And she's looking at him like, when did you ever go to Leeds? You know, but she didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, he used to come see me a lot in Leeds. But, you know, I'm glad he's okay. And I'm sorry to hear about his kidnapping. You know, you guys must be going through a lot with all that money that you spent. And then she's like, kidnapping? What kidnapping? I said, well, he called me like a few days ago. He told me that he was quiet because he was kidnapped. And then this woman, the way she looked at him, and I could feel her body shaking. I just put my shades on and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any drama. Oh my God, I didn't. You know what? I'm sorry. I think I have to go. So I turned around, put my glasses on, and I walked away. But I gaslighted. So from that point, I don't know what happened. I blocked him completely. And I was just like, I'm never, ever, ever gonna talk to this person ever again. Whatever drama happened at their house, that's his business. But thank God I never gave the box. I think I should have even asked him, you know, when I went into his flat, I should have asked him, like, how come you don't have like shoes, you don't have clothes, you don't have belongings in the room? I should have asked him. But I liked him that much that I was just making excuses in my mind for him. But that was a sign. That was like a fucking red flag. Like, I should have said something. But shoulda, woulda, coulda, you know. And thank God the box was not got. Because can you imagine? Can you imagine if I get... Can you imagine, like, how I'd be feeling? So, sometimes, ladies, when you have, like, an instinct, if your sixth sense is saying something, trust your gut. Trust your instinct. It doesn't matter how chocolatey velvet the man is, right? It doesn't matter how beautiful he is. But since that time, I never saw him again. I never heard from him again. He tried to reach out a few times, but I was just like, I'm not even about that life. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, goodbye and happy quarantine.